The 1,950 seconds. It was a decade of profound transformation in America, a nation shaking off the shadows of war and rocketing into a future of unprecedented prosperity. The economy surged, giving rise to a confident new middle class. Families flocked to the sprawling suburbs, connected by the promise of the brand new interstate highway system. This was the jet age, the atomic age, an era defined by an unshakable belief in technological progress, where the sky was no longer the limit. At the very heart of this cultural moment was the automobile. It evolved from mere transportation into a powerful symbol of personal freedom, social status, and the boundless potential of the future. Detroit's design studios, unshackled from years of wartime austerity, became epicenters of creativity. Drawing direct inspiration from the delta-wing jets and futuristic rockets of the Cold War, they sculpted steel into spectacular, kinetic forms. Tailfins soared to audacious new heights. Chrome was applied with a generosity that bordered on the absurd. And deep within these metallic beasts, the V8 engine became the undisputed king, its rhythmic burble the very heartbeat of a nation on the move. But in this frenzied, high-stakes race for innovation and market dominance, not every idea was destined for glory. For every icon, there was a catastrophe. Some cars, despite their dazzling and futuristic appearances, were built on a foundation of deeply flawed concepts, perilous technological overreach, or a fundamental and often arrogant misunderstanding of the American consumer. Today, we are conducting a factual investigation. We will move beyond the common myths and legends to examine the hard data, the specific engineering decisions, and the crucial historical context behind 10 of the most misguided automobiles of this pivotal decade. This is not about mockery. It is about understanding the complex, fascinating, and often cautionary story of what went wrong. Join us as we analyze the engineering illusions of the 1,950 seconds. Number 10. The 1,950 Ford Crestliner. The promise. As the decade opened, Ford was locked in a brutal sales war with Chevrolet. The Crestliner was conceived as a strategic weapon in this fight. It was designed to be a halo model, a semi-custom, high-style vehicle that could attract aspirational buyers. The goal was to offer the prestige of a limited edition car at a price point that was still accessible, bridging the gap between a standard Ford and a more expensive Mercury. The factual reality. The Crestliner's distinction was almost entirely skin-deep. Its most heavily marketed feature was the padded vinyl roof, a novel touch intended to simulate the canvas top of a high-end convertible. This was complemented by unique two-tone paint schemes, such as Sportsman's Green with a tan top and distinctive chrome side trim. However, beneath this fashionable exterior, the car was a standard 1,950 Ford Custom Deluxe. It utilized the same 114-inch wheelbase chassis and was powered by the venerable but aging 239 cubic-inch L-head flathead V8. This engine, a design that traced its roots back to 1932, produced a modest 100 horsepower. In contrast, General Motors was already pushing its more modern and efficient overhead valve engine architecture. Consumers, who were becoming increasingly sophisticated, saw through the facade. They realized the Crestliner's price premium, around $150 more than a standard Tudor sedan, bought them styling, but no tangible improvement in performance, ride quality, or interior features. The sales figures tell the story. In 1950, Ford produced a respectable 17,601 Crestliners, but the novelty wore off quickly. For the 1951 model year, that number plummeted to just 8,703 units. The legacy. Recognizing the model's failure to capture the public's imagination, Ford discontinued the Crestliner after just 2 years. It serves as a textbook example of a superficial styling package that offered no real substance. It was an early and important lesson for Detroit. The post-war car buyer was no longer content with mere appearance. They demanded genuine engineering value for their money. Number 9. The 1,959 Chevrolet El Camino. The promise, Ford's Ranchero, launched in 1957, had successfully pioneered the coupe utility segment in the U.S. Chevrolet, not wanting to cede this new market to its rival, responded with the El Camino for the 1959 model year. The concept was tantalizing, to merge the wild, high-fashion styling of its passenger cars with the practicality of a light-duty pickup truck. The factual reality. The El Camino was built on Chevrolet's new 1959 X-frame chassis, the same platform that underpinned the iconic Impala. This meant it inherited one of the most extreme and memorable designs of the era, featuring dramatic, horizontal bat-wing fins and low-slung proportions. While visually stunning, this passenger car foundation created immediate and severe functional compromises. As a truck, its utility was questionable. The cargo bed was integrated beautifully into the bodywork, but it was shallow and offered a modest 33 cubic feet of volume. The official payload capacity was rated from 650 to 1,150 pounds, significantly less than a dedicated C divided by K series half-ton truck. More importantly, its passenger car suspension and low ground clearance made it wholly unsuitable for the rough terrain of a construction site or farm. As a car, it also fell short. The single bench seat cabin was less spacious than its sedan counterparts, and the open bed structure produced more wind and road noise. It was a vehicle trapped in a conceptual no man's land. While initial sales were a decent 22,246 units, they were not strong enough to dethrone the more established and arguably more utilitarian Ranchero. A sharp sales decline to just 14,163 units in 1960 prompted Chevrolet to halt production. The legacy, the El Camino, would return with great success in 1964, but on a more truck-like A-body platform. The original 1959 to 1960 model stands as a classic case study in functional compromise. It proved that simply bolting two different vehicle concepts together does not guarantee a successful synthesis of their respective strengths. Number 8. The 1958 Buick Limited. The promise. For the 1958 model year, Buick resurrected its most prestigious pre-war nameplate, Limited. The intention was clear and ambitious: to create a new top-of-the-line series that would compete head-on with the offerings of Cadillac, establishing Buick as a true top-tier luxury brand. The factual reality. The 1958 Limited was an exercise in sheer, unadulterated excess. It rode on a massive 127.5-inch wheelbase and measured a staggering 227.5 inches in overall length, over 19 feet. Its most memorable design feature was its Fashion Air Dynastar grille, a complex and expensive component composed of 160 individual chrome-plated squares. Chrome was applied with breathtaking abandon across the entire car, from the massive sweep spear side trim to the heavy rear fins. This immense size and ornamentation resulted in a curb weight approaching 5,000 pounds. To move this mass, Buick employed its 364 cubic inch nailhead V8, producing 300 horsepower. However, the car's tremendous weight blunted its performance and led to abysmal fuel economy, often struggling to achieve double-digit miles per gallon. This ostentatious display of consumption was released directly into the path of the severe economic recession of 1958, a period when unemployment rose and consumers suddenly became deeply concerned with price and fuel efficiency. The market timing could not possibly have been worse. With a high price tag and gas-guzzling performance, the Limited was completely out of sync with the national mood. Sales were a commercial disaster, with only 7,436 units sold. The legacy, the Limited, was unceremoniously dropped after just 1 year. It is remembered today as the ultimate symbol of Detroit's bigger is better philosophy pushed to its logical and absurd breaking point. And it serves as a stark lesson in the critical importance of economic context in product planning. Number 7. The 1955 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz. The promise. For decades, Cadillac had successfully marketed itself as the standard of the world. The Eldorado was the brand's ultra-luxury flagship, a car for celebrities and captains of industry. For 1955, the convertible model was given the exotic Biarritz designation to further enhance its image as the undisputed pinnacle of American automotive style and prestige. The factual reality. From a design perspective, the Biarritz was a masterpiece. Overseen by legendary designer Harley Earl, it featured unique, sharp shark fin rear fenders, elegant chrome trim, and an impeccable level of finish. However, this beauty came at a steep price. With a base price of $6,286, it was nearly 40% more expensive than the Series 62 convertible upon which it was based. For perspective, the median household income in the US in 1955 was just over $4,400. For that substantial price increase, the buyer received styling and exclusivity, but minimal mechanical advantage. It shared the same 129-inch wheelbase chassis and 331 cubic inch V8 engine as other Cadillacs. Thanks to dual Carter 4-barrel carburetors, its engine produced 270 horsepower, a mere 20 horsepower increase over the standard model. The chassis, suspension, and overall driving dynamics were largely identical. Weighing over 4,700 pounds, its performance was adequate for cruising, but by no means sporty. The legacy, the Eldorado Biarritz, absolutely succeeded as a status symbol. However, it also represented a clear point of diminishing returns, where the price was dictated almost entirely by aesthetics and exclusivity, rather than by tangible engineering innovation. It highlighted a growing trend in the luxury market, where brand image began to take precedence over substantive mechanical improvements. Number 6. The 1957 Lincoln Premier. The promise. As Lincoln's direct competitor to the wildly popular Cadillac Series 62, the 1957 Premier was designed to be a showstopper. The goal was to capture the hearts and wallets of luxury car buyers with the most extravagant, forward-looking, and imposing styling on the American road. The factual reality: the 57 Premier was defined by its dramatic and often polarizing styling. Its most prominent features were the vertically stacked quadra-light headlights and sharply canted, soaring tailfins. At nearly 19 feet long and weighing over 4,500 pounds, it was a massive vehicle that commanded an enormous amount of road space. Power came from Lincoln's 368 cubic inch Y-block V8, producing a healthy 300 horsepower, but the car's sheer bulk meant performance was best described as leisurely rather than brisk. Inside, the Premier was lavishly appointed with power, everything, and luxurious fabrics. However, it lacked the true engineering advancements that were being offered by its rivals. While Cadillac was pioneering features like optional air suspension and the Autronic Eye automatic headlight dimmer, Lincoln's innovations were largely cosmetic. It was a car that prioritized a flashy, look-at-me design over substantive innovation or a refined driving experience. The legacy. The 1957 Lincoln Premier is remembered today as a prime example of late 52nd styling excess pushed to its limits. It was a car whose overwhelming physical presence and flamboyant design details failed to mask a lack of competitive, forward-thinking engineering underneath its acres of sheet metal. Number 5. The 1957 Ford Skyliner Retractable. The promise. The Ford Fairlane 500 Skyliner was a genuine halo car, a product designed to draw crowds into showrooms. It was a legitimate technological marvel, the world's first mass-produced automobile with a fully automatic, retractable hardtop. It offered the all-weather security and quietness of a steel-roofed coupe with the open-air freedom of a convertible, all showcased through a mesmerizing mechanical ballet. The factual reality. The hideaway hardtop mechanism was an astonishing feat of engineering for its time. The entire sequence was powered by 7 electric motors, 10 solenoids, 4 circuit breakers, 13 switches, and over 610 feet of electrical wiring. The process of opening or closing the top, which involved the trunk lid hinging open from the front, the roof panels folding and retracting, and the trunk closing again, took about 40 seconds. While spectacular to watch, this immense complexity created countless points of potential failure. The system also introduced severe practical compromises. First, the massive steel roof panels had to retract completely into the trunk area, which reduced luggage capacity from a usable 37 cubic feet to a tiny 6 cubic foot bin when the top was down. Second, the mechanism and its required structural reinforcements added over 400 pounds to the car's curb weight. This extra mass, concentrated at the very rear of the car, negatively affected its handling balance, blunted acceleration, and worsened fuel economy. Finally, it was expensive, costing about $400 more than a traditional Sunliner convertible. The legacy. The Skyliner is now a celebrated and highly sought-after collector's car, but its production story is a crucial lesson in product design. It demonstrates that a groundbreaking engineering feat does not guarantee a successful product if it comes at the cost of core functions like practicality, reliability, and value. Number 4. The 1958 Lincoln Continental Mark III. The promise. The Continental Mark III was Lincoln's cost-as-no-object assault on Cadillac's dominance in the ultra-luxury segment. It was engineered to be the most imposing, solid, and technologically advanced luxury car on the road, notably utilizing advanced unibody construction instead of the traditional body-on-frame method. The factual reality. While its unibody construction was indeed strong and advanced, it also made the Mark III incredibly heavy. With a curb weight exceeding 5,000 pounds, it was a true heavyweight. At an overall length of 229 inches, it held the distinction of being the longest American production car of its era. Its power source was the new 430 cubic inch MEL V8, one of the largest engines of the decade, producing 375 horsepower. Even with this immense power, the engine struggled to provide brisk acceleration against the car's inertia. The car's blocky, angular styling, with its slanted headlights and reverse-canted breezeway rear window, was a stark and polarizing contrast to the flowing lines of its competitors. It was a vehicle that sacrificed agility, efficiency, and conventional beauty for sheer, intimidating presence. The legacy. The Mark III failed to achieve its sales targets and is now seen by historians as a vehicle that pursued sheer size and brute force above all else. This resulted in an unwieldy and inefficient car that lacked the refined elegance and dynamic competence of its main rival, Cadillac, proving that being the biggest is not the same as being the best. Number 3. The 1959 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham. The promise. The Eldorado Brougham was Cadillac's audacious answer to Rolls-Royce. It was a bespoke, hand-built motorcar designed not just to be a luxury vehicle, but to be a rolling showcase of the absolute zenith of automotive technology and handcrafted opulence, regardless of cost. The factual reality. With a staggering price tag of $13,074, more than twice the price of a standard Eldorado Biarritz, the Brougham was a monument to excess. Its bodies were hand-built by the famed Italian coach builder Pininfarina in Turin, Italy, and then air-freighted to Detroit for final assembly. It came standard with every conceivable feature, including a self-leveling air suspension system, cruise control, automatic trunk release, and memory seats. It even included a set of magnetic drinking tumblers and a lady's vanity with an arpege perfume atomizer. However, this cutting-edge technology was notoriously unreliable. The complex air suspension system, in particular, was prone to leaks from its rubber airbags, which were expensive and difficult to repair. The plethora of electrical systems created a constant risk of frustrating failures. Due to its astronomical price and complex build process, only 99 were produced in 1959. The legacy, the Brougham, was a spectacular commercial failure. It stands as a powerful example of technological overreach, where advanced features were rushed to market before they were robust enough for real-world use. It was a car so focused on providing every possible luxury that it forgot the ultimate luxury: reliability. Number 2. The 1958 Edsel Pacer. The promise. As part of the most hyped and expensive automotive launch of the decade, the Edsel Pacer was designed to be a stylish, mid-price car. It was packed with futuristic features and was supposed to be perfectly positioned to capture a huge segment of the market that Ford's research indicated was waiting for a car exactly like it. The factual reality, the Pacer became the public face of the Edsel's immediate and catastrophic failure. Its most talked-about feature, the central vertical grille, was widely mocked by the public and pressed with a variety of unflattering comparisons. Its marquee technological feature, the Teletouch push-button transmission system located in the steering wheel hub, was an ergonomic and mechanical disaster. It was confusing to use and notoriously unreliable. Most critically, the cars were plagued by abysmal build quality. Assembled on existing Ford and Mercury production lines, they arrived at dealerships with a host of defects, from misaligned trim to non-functioning parts. The Pacer came to embody the massive disconnect between the brand's marketing hype and the deeply flawed product that was actually delivered. The legacy. When people think of the Edsel failure, the Pacer is often the specific car that comes to mind. It represents the disastrous launch, the immediate and overwhelmingly negative public reaction, and the poor quality control that crippled the entire brand from its very first day on the market. Number 1. The 1959 Ford Edsel Ranger. The promise. The Ranger was the entry-level Edsel, intended to be the volume seller that would build a loyal customer base and cement the brand's place in the American garage. After the unmitigated disaster of the 1958 launch, the 1959 models, including the Ranger, were significantly toned down, simplified, and made more conventional in a desperate attempt to salvage the brand. The factual reality. The 1959 Edsel Ranger represents the complete and total collapse of the Edsel project. By the time it was released, the brand's reputation was already in tatters. The well-publicized quality issues, the polarizing styling, and the unreliable technology of the first models had done irreparable damage to consumer trust. The Ranger, despite being a more conventional and arguably better-built car than its predecessor, could not escape the toxic reputation of the Edsel name. Sales continued to plummet into freefall. Ford had invested the equivalent of over $2.5 billion in today's money to create the brand, and the utter failure of volume models like the Ranger to sell sealed its fate. Ford officially pulled the plug on the Edsel division in November 1959. The legacy of the Edsel Ranger isn't just a failed car. It represents the death of a dream and the culmination of a corporate catastrophe. Its failure encapsulates the entire Edsel debacle, a catastrophic misreading of the market, a systemic failure of quality control, and a final financial loss estimated to be $350 million in 1960 dollars. It is, without a doubt, the most iconic and cautionary tale of failure in the entire history of the American automotive industry. The stories of these 10 automobiles are more than just footnotes in automotive history. They are powerful, tangible illustrations of the complex and often unforgiving interplay between design, engineering, and the marketplace. They show us that for every successful innovation, there are often dozens of ideas that, while ambitious and born of optimism, were ultimately misguided. But history is a conversation, and that's where you come in. We've presented the documented facts and the historical context, but it's the personal experiences that truly color the past. Which of these vehicles do you find to be the most fascinating failure? Do you have a family story about one of these cars? Perhaps you've encountered one at a museum or a car show. Please share your insights and experiences in the comments section below. Your contributions are what strengthen our community of automotive history enthusiasts. If you found this investigation valuable, please support our channel by giving this video a like. And to ensure you don't miss our future deep dives into the fascinating world of automotive history, please subscribe and activate the notification bell. Thank you for joining us on this detailed look into the past. We'll see you in the next video.